Planet Dolan.
From eating scabs to craving quiet, the Planet Dolan crew reenacts some of the best true stories from our subreddits about our most annoying habits that drive everybody nuts. My name is Nixium, and today I'll be your narrator. Number 10 was submitted by SovereignofSabers. Sacred Snoopy has a terrible habit of chewing on her fingers and eating the skin until they bleed. It started as a backlash of having the pacifier taken away too soon as a baby, but as she got older, it worsened. Luckily, she's been able to control it much more and doesn't allow herself to bleed. Also, she only chews 2 fingers now. Her family used to scold her constantly about it, and she would scare others with it. Even Sacred Snoopy's own friends began getting disgusted and told her to stop. She never saw it as a big deal, but decided to stop anyway. Nowadays, it happens more when she's angry or stressed out. Number 9 was submitted by LuPoo96. Dolan blows his nose without a tissue, and it drives his mom nuts. When he feels like something's up in there, and either can't get a decent tissue or doesn't want to bother finding one, he'll just blow. In his opinion, it's more convenient. More often than not much comes out when he blows his nose with a tissue as opposed to the mess that he can leave his nose when he doesn't use one. The only real downside is ruining an area on the front of his shirt. Number 8 was submitted by Absolute Fandom Trash. Gooby really loves her quiet. Shh. It would normally be okay with her family, but she will do literally anything to preserve her quiet, such as ignoring people, walking away from conversations, randomly coming in and shutting TVs or radios off without warning, and closing the windows on a hot summer's day. One of her best tactics is what she calls the music tactic, which ironically is a very loud tactic. Gooby's brother loves to come in the living room when she's the only one in there using the computer. He watches shows on his phone without headphones and never listens when Gooby asks him to please turn the volume down. Being the only one in her family to know French, she will find one of her favorite French songs and blare them at full volume until he leaves. She enjoys the songs, but her brother doesn't, as he's unable to understand them. As soon as he's gone, her silence is completely restored. Number 7 was submitted by My Little Starust. Tulup's most annoying habit is to unwind by walking back and forth in his room while playing music through his headphones. Nobody ever really cares except for one time when he was doing his thing, and all of a sudden his grandmother came into his room and said,
"Do you have any idea how loud that is?"
Tulup said that he didn't, and his grandmother stomped on the ground very loudly and said,
"That is all I hear."
She walked away, and Tulup is terrified to even try to unwind whenever he goes over to his grandparents' house. When he needs to unwind now, he's just sure that he doesn't make a sound. Number 6 was submitted by LeoMan64. A really bad habit that Spinal Palm's whole family knows about is that he sometimes eats his own scabs, old and new ones. He eats them all the time. When he's bored in school, he'll check his legs, arms, back, face, almost every part of his body. It started when he was in the 1st grade, and that's when he started doing it to the point where his family made fun of him. He'll sometimes pick one that bleeds too much, though he doesn't do that as much anymore. Number 5 was submitted by Anastar2016. When Andy and her friends eat together, she can smack her lips because one of her best friends, Froggy, hates it, even though it's unintentional. One time, Andy had a chicken roll that was amazing. She turned to Froggy and said,
"That was delicious,"
and smacked her lips. Froggy cringed and nearly went to smack Andy, yelling at her to stop. Despite Andy doing it accidentally most of the time, Froggy still loves her, because that's what true friends do. Number 4 was submitted by Sociallyakwardhebe. Playing pranks and jokes at serious time is Hellbent's most annoying habit. When he was in 7th grade, he got his first phone. One day when he was in art class, they had a lockdown because someone with a gun entered the school property. So all the lights were shut off, and they went into the corner. Hellbent was on his phone when he realized that he had an app that had sound effects. He quickly turned up the volume, and he played the gun effect. He laughed his ass off while half the class cried in fear. And in the end, Hellbent confessed and got a 2-day suspension. Number 3 was submitted by Sociallyakwardhebe. Pandora and her best friend Ramona have a habit of chewing on random stuff. Pandora makes these weird sounds when things are in her mouth, which her mom hates. One time, she was chewing on a button and took it out of her mouth for a minute or so because she had to leave the room. However, when Pandora came back, Ramona had the same button in her mouth. When Pandora told her that that button had been in her mouth, her friend panicked and went and washed her mouth out. Number 2 was submitted by MysteryWolfGamer. Spincess has a huge problem with shaking her foot. She'll either be anxious or just can't sit still. What she will do is she will cross her right leg over her left leg, and it'll go frickin' crazy, man. It'll shake like a tree. Sometimes she hits the chair or the table leg, making noise. The majority of her friends are either used to it, or they try to tell her to stop, please, by gently putting her foot on the ground. As for everyone else, shut the heck up and stop tapping your frickin' foot! Similar reactions come from her mother. Her father just says it's energy being expelled. As long as there's no noise, he's fine. And number 1 was submitted by me. One habit that I have that seems to annoy a couple of people is whenever I agree with someone, instead of saying, yes, I agree, I go, ugh. Now why do I do this? I don't know. It's just fun. And the fact that it annoys people just makes it even better. Ugh. So a huge thanks to the folks over at our Planet Dolan subreddit for submitting their stories. But we have another question for you. What is the dumbest thing you have ever done for money? Let us know in the Reddit page linked below, and you might be featured in a future countdown. It seems I have to leave you now, mortals, but don't worry, I shall return.